Welcome back, my friends, to the motorbike show that never ends. It's hello from a very sleepy Sasha, the Himalayan dog. Say hello, folks. Hello, folks. Good girl. So what are we doing today? Well, you're doing oil again. You're doing oil again, in case you forgot, Dad. Yes, I am doing oil again. Well, we've reached 2,000 kilometers. 2005. Excuse the sun. 2005. So, I am changing the oil. Now, you don't have to, but I think it's a good idea. And I'll show you why. The initial oil change was at 500 kilometers, and then there isn't another oil change for, I believe, 10 until you get to 10,000. Now, one of the reasons I like to use a light coloured oil and not a dyed oil like Moto or not deep purple, what's it called? Royal purple, is I can tell what's happening with the oil. Now, look at this. This oil has only done 1,500 kilometers. The original oil was dropped at 500, and now we've done another 1,500, and we've gone by the book. We haven't revved it over 6,000. 6,000 is the rev limit, and after 2,000 kilometers, you can go crazy up to the rev limiter, which I think is 8,000. But we haven't done that. We've been good. So look at the color of that. Is that black or what? I've deliberately put it in a light coloured container, these old milk jugs. Now, I'm a bit surprised about that. And why is that? Is it the oil that's oxidizing, or is it muck from inside the engine? What is it? I don't know. Is it carbon, unburnt fuel? What is it? I don't know. Does it smell like fuel? Yeah, it smells a little aromatic. I don't know. But anyway, a little tip for you. If you use a light coloured jug, and you can gauge the state of the oil that you're draining out. And another little tip for you. These two drain plugs on the Himalayan are a pain. Especially this back one. First time it caught me unawares, and it sent oil spewing everywhere off down this center stand and made a right bloody mess. So what I did was I got an old milk jug, a 4-litre milk jug, and I cut the top off, and I used it to catch the oil and then direct it into the rest of the jug down below. You see how it's doing that? And that worked like a treat. So you loosen the two sump bolts with a socket, a small extension, and then you whip your ratchet handle off it, undo them by hand, holding the top of the jug in place, and you can direct the oil into the rest of the container, and it has a handy handle. How about that, eh? Wonderful. So yeah, a little bit surprised. I'm gonna let it sit for a while and drip away. Now then, this is what we got out. This is the front drain plug, and this is the gauze that came out. Well, we wanted to little bits of muck on it again. I haven't cleaned these. You can see that the oil is still on the gauze there, and just one or two little clear areas where it's drained off. You can clearly see the magnets on that little ring there. The magnets are quite visible, so I don't suppose there'll be much of a deposit there. Yeah, just a tiny deposit, but look here. Now, when I took the drain plug out, I put it there. And can you see these shiny bits here? and shiny bits of metal. So, is that from the inside of the engine, or is that off the aluminium drain plug? I don't know. Perhaps I should have a bit of a fertile in there with a Q-tip or something. Can't really see anything in there. It's quite clear. The back one, I put it there. Can't see any little silver pieces. It's pretty much the same. This is the back gauze. Again, it's got one or two big chunks on it. You can see it had a little bit more in the way of gunge. There's a piece there, look. Yeah, it had a little bit more gunge than the front one, but certainly not as much as it had the first time on the first oil change. A spider there. Money spider, bring around coming into some money, that'd be nice. So yeah, that's just my dirty finger mark. So these are going to get washed off with paraffin and kerosene. I'm not going to blow them with air like some people do, because if you blow the outside, you'll blow the muck through the gauze maybe and into the middle, and then that'll get sucked around your engine. I imagine the next stop for this is the oil pump, and it'll get pulled out the sump through the oil pump around the engine back to the sump again. So nothing too terrible, although that is a little concerning, and I'll watch out for that next time. Could be just a rough edge off a gear or something like that. I don't know why it has two sump plugs. Maybe one's for the gearbox and one's for the engine. I really don't know. I haven't had this engine apart, and I haven't seen a diagram, so who knows. Anyway, so that's that part. The oil is very black. I don't like that. Okay, so let's go to the other side. Again here, pulled off the cover in my little gadget, which is a bolt which has a 14mm head, which fits there. And then this end is a nut that a 17mm will fit on, either a socket, which is what I use to take the sump plugs out, or a wrench, doesn't matter. A little sort extension. That works a treat and saves you having to carry a 14mm Allen wrench around with you. Who wants to do that? The things weigh a bloody ton. So if you got that and you put it in your toolbox, whoops, it'll be with you when you need it, should you need it on the road or in the workshop. Milk jug technology again. Cut your milk jug and hold it under there. When you pull the cover off, you will catch most of it, although inevitably there's always a little smear gets by you. Yeah. Yeah, it looks nice and clean in there. This is the old filter. Can't see any big chunks on the outside. I think this is off the floor. Yeah, nothing on the filter medium that I can see. Can't really see inside. Anyway, it's going to be replaced. Got a new kit here. Genuine Royal Enfield, all the way from Hitchcock's in England. They can get me stuff. They can get stuff to me quicker than a Royal Enfield dealer in British Columbia can. Work that out, eh? Not very happy about the service I've been receiving from that company, or not receiving. Anyway, we shall see. So there we go. It's gonna have a new filter in a minute, new O-rings, all that good stuff, and we will refill it. Now then, I was gonna say something. Well, yeah, one of the reasons that I wanted to change the oil early was because of how much oil stays in the engine. Now, the dry fill up at the factory is 2.4 litres. Your oil change fill up is 2.1 litres. They make it 2.1. Why couldn't it just be 2 or 2.5 or whatever? Anyway, it's kind of awkward. Now, let me do this. Let me show you something. And it bugs me, this does. It really bugs me. It may be no consequence to anybody, but 2.4 litres is the initial fill up. So two of these, those are a litre, plus 0.4, nearly a half. And when you change the oil, you leave 300 cc's in there. 300 millilitres stays in the engine and doesn't get changed at the oil change. This jug, little squeezer, is 250 to the very top. So this much oil doesn't get changed at every oil filter, at every oil change. So that mucky oil is going to go around your engine again. So that's one of the reasons why I'm going to be changing the oil on this engine every 5,000 kilometers instead of every 10. Because I don't agree with leaving this much crap in your engine. I know she's got a filter, but that isn't going to take the very small stuff out. Very small particles. I don't know how many microns that is. It's hard to find good data for it. But anyway, there we go. Royal Enfield Himalayan 450. 2,000 kilometer oil change using milk jug technology. Oil is rather dark, but we'll see how we go next time. We'll use the same semi-synthetic 1040, see what color it is at 5,000. Actually, yeah, I'm going to change it at 5,000, so that's another 3,000 Ks. So until next time, it's goodbye from the Himmy, goodbye from him, and it's goodbye from Sasha the Himalayan dog. Say goodbye. Woof. Yeah, so until next time, take care of yourselves, look after one another, rubber side down, shiny side up, be good. If you can't be good, be careful, and don't tell anybody about it. Bye bye.